Hello, fellow agents. It's Rob with TemporalCoins. As I stated in my milk shoutout call video, I purchased this roll off eBay. It had two Indian head pennies, one on each side. One of them is a 1903. I'll zoom in a little bit more so y'all can see it, 1903. And the other end, we had an 1891 Indian head penny. I haven't opened this up. This is exactly the way I got it. Looks like somebody's been playing around with the end. And then, of course, the wrapper itself doesn't look like it's ancient in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So let's open this thing up and let's see what we find. Come on. There we go. All right. Looks like a lot of wheat cents. Can't be mad at that. But here's that 1903 ender right here. Really good. We'll put that one up here on the board. Let's see, what else we got on here? So let's find that other. There it is right there. There's the other ender, which was the 1891. Right there. It's got some nice toning on it. All right. Well, let's pick around in here for a little bit and see if we can see if there's any other Indian heads. But it looks like the rest of them are stacked with Wheaties. Not that that's a bad thing. But yes, it looks like the other part of this entire row is just wheat pennies. So tell you what, guys, I'm going to short through these. If I see something interesting or anything, I'll bring you back in when I find it. All right, guys, we're back. So I'll wrap up this video here soon, but this is what we ended up with, and I'll show you some of the better finds and all this. What we ended up with was 12 wheat pennies in the 50s, 1950s. We found 11 in the 1940s. I was a little disappointed in this one. So it's a 1942S mint, but I mean, it is chewed up badly. So I was a little disappointed about that. What I was surprised about was we ended up with 16 in the 30s. Let's zoom back out. 16 in the 30s, which was unusual. I was expecting the bulk of this roll to be in the 40s and 50s. But we did find the bulk in the 1930s. We found 6 actually in the 1920s and 2 in the 19-teens. And of course the 2 Indian heads that we found. So let me bring you in here and we'll take a look at these older coins a little closer. So first up, we found a 1918. Get the camera to focus. There we go. 1918 penny. Has some nice toning on it. The other one we found was a 1919. In not too bad shape. This one was a 1927, I believe. In pretty good shape. This one is a 1920. This one, 1926, I believe. Throw it over the scope real quick. Hard to tell without my, 1928. 1928. Let's go back and look at that other one, just make sure I was right the first time. Yeah, the other one was a 1920. And the other one was 1927 on that one. And the next one we have here was a 1929. That we found. This one's a 1925 that we got a hold of. And the last one in the 20s is another 1927. Yeah, we found, like I said, 16 of the in the 1930s. I won't bore you with going through every one of those in the list. But the listing was for a roll of wheat pennies, extra fine 1903 Indian head penny, and a 1891 Indian head penny of the two enders, which were these two. Which I'm very fine with. Obviously, I think y'all could tell by the roll, which looks brand new. This was a stacked roll. So someone, this is not like it was an unsearched, but it doesn't say in the listing that it was an unsearched roll. So somebody stacked it this particular way. But even though, that being said, considering what I paid for it, I'm not unpleased. I believe I got my money's worth. Like I said, I was actually surprised to end up with as many 10s, 20s, and 30s that I got. I was expecting the whole row actually to be mostly 40s and 50s, with maybe a couple of 30s thrown in there. But, on the plus side, I'm very, very pleased. Kind of disappointed in the S Mint. If somebody's going to stack something and put it together, I would expect a better condition coin than that particular one. But that's the only thing I would say that I'm sort of disappointed in. The seller that I got this from, so everyone knows, is Coin Guru 29, who got me this. I got what it advertised for, so I can't really complain too much. But that just shows you what you get on eBay. But again, like I said, I'm pretty happy with the purchase overall, so I'm not really going to complain too much. All right, be back in a second with the wrap up. All right, agents. Today we're going to travel back to the year 1891. So I started researching this to go back in time. I found some pretty interesting things. When this coin was minted. So on March 3rd, 1891, the 51st Congress of the United States passed the first International Copyright Act of 1891. The Wrigley Company is founded in Chicago, Illinois, originally selling soap, baking powder, and then next year they didn't start actually making chewing gum. In May 5th, 1891, Carnegie Hall, then known as Music Hall, opened its doors in New York with its first public performance under the guest conductor, Tchaikovsky. Wow, can you imagine that? Tchaikovsky doing the first conducting at Carnegie Hall. Wow, amazing. May 20th, 1891, the first showing to the public audience, the convention of the National Federation of Women's Club of Thomas Edison's new strip motion picture film occurred in Edison's West Orange, New Jersey laboratory. Later that year, Edison would patent the radio. In June 21st, 1891, alternating current is transmitted for the first time by the Ames Power Plant near Turdau, Colorado, by Lucien and Paul Nunn. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Oscar Wilde's Duchess de Ponda premiered in New York City that year. The first great train robbery by the Dalton Gang. They robbed the Southern Pacific number 17 train in February of 1891. Wow. Can you imagine? Maybe this penny was one of the pennies that the Dalton Gang actually stole and made our way to this video. Isn't that would be something? Let's see some of the other cool things that happened that year. Let's see. The 17th Kentucky Derby was done. Isaac Murphy aboard Kingsman wins in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Pretty cool. Work on the Trans-Siberian Railroad began. So what else happened during this time that this coin was minted? As I said before, Thomas Edison patented the motion picture camera that we know today. Wow, that's just unbelievable. To think that this coin was minted when those things think. Oh, here's a cool thing. December 15th, James Naismith invents basketball in Canada. Wow, didn't know that. It's pretty cool. And another about 10 days later, 18 students placed the first basketball game in Springfield College. Wow. And on December 29th of 1891, Thomas Edison patents the signal's electricity. And what he means by that, he patented the radio. So when this coin was minted, ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Edison was making the motion picture industry start off and the radio start off. Wow. Just unbelievable how these things have traveled through time to get to us. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. Hope you got something out of it. As always, happy hunting, guys, and good luck.